Hey guys, on today's video, we're going to talk about 5 common mistakes that home buyers make. And by avoiding these pitfalls, how you can have a smoother transaction and a better investment. And that starts right now. Alright guys, number 1, skipping the pre-approval process. I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody reach out to me. They're excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go buy a house, right? And they've been on Zillow. They found these homes that they absolutely love. They want to go look at them, but they have not gotten pre-approved yet. And it's such a letdown because here's the thing: until you get that pre-approval, you have no idea what your buying power is. You don't know, what price you're in. You have no idea. And then on top of it too, I cannot write up an offer without a pre-approval letter because no listing agent and no seller is going to take us seriously. So before you even start looking at homes, you've got to get pre-approved. And I'm going to dig a little deeper on that too. Know that, you don't have to just go to one lender, right? I want to say it's like 45 days. You have 45 days. So say you go to one lender, they pull your credit. It's going to be a hard pull. It's going to hit your credit report, right? It's just going to happen. It's part of the process. You have 45 days that you can actually go to other lenders and see what kind of rate they can give you. It's not always too about what the rate is. If the rate's off by a little bit, but you're with a lender who is a lot more streamlined and it's less of a headache, and they're not constantly taking our deal and flying it off the rails and we're having to pull it back in, that relationship with who the lender is and what their process looks like, not just the rate, is huge. So keep that in mind. I've had deals where somebody goes, they're with this lender, they refuse to use any other lenders, they want to stay with just this lender. I know, because I do this all the time, that lender is an absolute nightmare to work with. So now we get into this process and my client is like, hey, I've had to take them all this stuff 55 times. They've changed this, they've done that. It's taken them forever to get us a clear to close before we can actually get to the table and close this deal. So just keep in mind, pre-approval before you look, you're looking at homes, but also shop these lenders. Find the best rate, but also ask them, how good is your process? What's your process look like? What am I going to have to do? How many, what are you going to expect from me as a buyer? As far as, paperwork, am I going to have to fill all this out? Are you going to fill it out? What does that look like? And so that, I will tell you right now, is going to cut down on a ton of your headaches and a bunch of the issues that you're going to deal with moving forward. And so for me, number 1 is definitely going to be get pre-approved and vet your lenders. All right, so number 2 is going to be not researching the neighborhood. So many buyers get so focused on the house, right? Oh, this is the home. I love it. I love everything about it. But what they don't do is they don't do research on the schools, right? Is this the type of schools that you want your kids in? They don't check for crime rates to see what the crime rates are like. Amenities, see what kind of amenities are around there. The other thing, keep in mind too, like where are you working and how far do you have to drive, and are you willing to do that every single morning? Like I love this house, but I got to drive an hour and a half to work. That's going to get old really super quick, right? So those are things that you got to keep in mind. Do your research of the neighborhood. And here's another one, a big one, is are there any future developments? I've had clients who have bought a home. They love the house. Oh, look at all the space out back. It's beautiful. And then a year down the road, they're calling me wanting to sell because they just built a neighborhood in their backyard, right? So those are things that you want to keep in mind, is the neighborhood, the amenities, all that stuff, not just the home. There's a lot more that goes into this than, just the home itself, what is around it. So do your research, and I know that you'll be a lot happier at the end of the day. Hey, come here. Hey, do me a favor. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel. All right, so number 3, underestimating additional costs. So most people, in their mind, they're thinking, okay, here's my down payment. This is what I got to put down. Here's my monthly mortgage payment. But what they don't think about is closing costs, right? Taxes, maintenance, repairs, things like that. You've got to pay for your closing costs, but then part of your closing costs, you're going to have your appraisal, which this is the thing a lot of people don't know, is that appraisal, you're going to pay for that out of pocket up front, right? So when that lender orders the appraisal, they're going to call you on the phone and say, hey, do you want to put this on your credit card? Do you want, are you going to use a debit card? How are you going to do it? It's not necessarily going to be rolled into that lump sum of closing costs that, your lender has told you. So like if your closing costs are $10,000, that appraisal is probably part of that $10,000, but it's not going to come at the end. It's going to actually happen before that. So I've had buyers where they get that call about the appraisal and they have to pay for it, and they're like, hey, what's going on with this? And that's when I was new and I really I didn't understand this process as much, so I didn't tell individuals stuff up front, which that was on me, and that was a learning experience. The other thing too is inspection, right? If you're going to get an inspection done, that's going to be $500-$600, whatever, depending on your area. And so keep that in mind too, because that's something that, that you're going to pay for. Now, you don't have to get an inspection done, but I'm going to tell you right now, I definitely would recommend it, because that's a way to run into a big headache. So just keep in mind that there are additional costs, right? Not just your down payment and what your mortgage is. You never know. When you move into the house, if it doesn't have a washer and dryer and you don't own one, guess what? You're going to have to probably buy one. So just keep those things, top of mind. And if you're working with me, we're going to talk about those things, and I'll point those out when we go and look at certain homes and stuff, like, hey, they're not offering this, so just keep in mind that you're going to have to bring either money for that to purchase it, or maybe we can try to negotiate it, but sometimes that doesn't always work out either. So, but just number 3 is additional costs. Just keep that top of mind, and make sure that you figure out what the costs are going to be, and that you have the extra money. Hey, come here. Hey, do me a favor. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel. All right, so let's jump. We might as well just jump right out of where I ended on number 3, and we jump right into number 4, and that's going to be the importance of a home inspection and ignoring that, right? So some buyers are like, hey, listen, I don't want to pay $500-$600, whatever, dollars up front for this home inspection. But here's the problem with that. Now what you're doing is you're purchasing a home that could have some hidden issues that you have no idea they're there. And the last thing you want to do is find that out after you own the home, right? I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's a movie from the 80s where I think it was Chevy Chase, and he moves into this house, and it's all these issues. They find out there's all these issues with this home. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you find any of those hidden issues up front, and then as your realtor, that gives me an opportunity to either negotiate repairs on that or get us out of this contract, right? Maybe because there's issues with this home, it's not the right one for you. And so for me, as your advisor and as your realtor, the last thing I want is for you to buy a home where you move into it and now you've got all these issues, right? I'll tell you what, I know from experience. I bought my first house. I lived in Michigan. I didn't get a home inspection done. I actually had a friend come look at it because he was in construction. Turns out the pipe that goes out to the sewer, there was a tree in my backyard and it had grown its roots into that. I was in the house 2 weeks when I came home from work and my basement was flooded. And when I had companies come out and look at it, $3,600. Well, I was a kid. I didn't have $3,600. Thank God my uncle was in construction and he brought a backhoe over. We dug it out and did it for like $600. But listen, you do not want to go into a home purchase without having an inspection done. So for me, that's number 4 on this list. Get a home inspection done. All right, so number 5, this is the last one on this list. Getting emotionally attached to the home. Worst thing you can do. Promise you that. It's like anything else. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you're emotionally attached to it, you might not see all the red flags, right? It's the same thing with buying a home. If you get emotionally attached to it, you may overlook some things that are you're going to see down the road that you're going to be like, why in the world did we buy this house? It's just a huge letdown. When you purchase a home, you got to always think it's an investment, right? It's a business decision. Make it a business decision. Make it a good investment. Now, you got to love the home. You're going to live in it. It's got to have the things that you need within it. But also, too, you got to look and say, hey, is this thing going to cost me a fortune down the road on repairs and stupid things that I don't want to deal with? Or on top of that, it's like resale value. If I buy a home and I know that I'm trying to move in 2 or 3 years and I'm like, oh, I just love this home, I want to live in it, but it's not in the right neighborhood, and we know that in 2-3 years from now you're not going to get your return on investment, then it's not a smart business decision. So do not get emotionally attached to these homes. It's a business decision. Treat it that way. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope this really helps you out. Listen, I'm a realtor here in the Middle Tennessee area. I help individuals like yourself and families move to the Nashville area every single year. That's what I'm here for. Here's my phone number on the screen. Give me a call anytime, text me. I'd absolutely love to help you. Let's game plan, figure out what we can do to get you moved here. If you live in the area, I can help you too, right? If you're trying to list your property, you're a buyer too a lot of times, so I can do that also. But listen, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you like the video. Subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll catch you on the next one.